Well, I have to go back to my PlayStation 2 when they had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I think those were one of my favorite games. I'd always play those the most.
Would definitely have to be from the old system, Nintendo. Probably Mario Kart, I would say, on N64. And Super Mario. Or no, not Super Mario. Mario 64. Super Mario 64. My favorite.
Actually, probably the best video game I ever played was the first Fable, and that was on the original Xbox. Modern Warfare 3 is probably right up there. Not like FPS's. First person shooters.
It's just a bad situation. So I think my favorite game of all time would actually, in fact, have to be a series. I like the Harvest Moon video game series. It started on Nintendo way back in the day. Like, I think I had it for Super Nintendo, and that was the first one I played. And then the N64 and the GameCube versions, and then now I have a couple of the Wii ones, like Tree of Tranquility and Animal Parade.
Like, of all time?
Yeah.
Really?
Or at least one of your top.
My top game is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
That's what genre is that?
RPG, adventure, I guess.
Actually,
But
Torn between a few of the Final Fantasies and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was also pretty badass. Final Fantasy VII in it specifically.
I'd have to say Mario. Went from like the Super Nintendo, Super 2D, like one-way platform game to like Mario Party and all that other fun stuff. Became more of a 3D character.
Mario. I knew, because he went from like, what, the little 8-bit thing to like Super 3D. Oh my god.
A character I do believe that has changed a lot through the games that it's been in would be Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were very favorite games of mine, and the character's actually gone through some serious, like, not just physical, but like mental growth and change as a person. I have a Nintendo DS, and actually I have a DS Lite. And it's really awesome, and I got this awesome cartridge that allows me to play whatever I want, because I'm like that. And the possibilities are endless, but I'm just so busy when I'm out places that it seems like something that I've been playing less and less.
The only thing I have portable right now is my cell phone. And yeah, I find myself on that a lot. Whenever I'm bored, I'm riding a bus, riding in a car on a long trip, you just have the quick games on your phone to play, and it's really nice.
What games do you play on your phone?
Angry Birds.
How do you compare Angry Birds to like video games like Sonic in the past?
I don't think they compare. I think to something like Sonic, there's a lot to do in a game like that. I mean, Angry Birds is like a stationary level game, and you just kind of, there's no real twists and turns, I could say. It's all right there in front of you.
I'm so biased. I just bought the 3DS, so I've been playing that. But growing up, I always played like Game Boy Color, like any handheld system by Nintendo was my favorite.
Attention to detail. I mean, originally in the 70s, what was it, Atari? And it was pretty much like a ball going back and forth. So, you know, with the addition of characters, it's definitely come a huge distance. The storylines are extremely elaborate. Like, you start a video game nowadays, and it's like pretty much you're watching, say, down to like watch a movie in a way, because it'll like give you this whole, 20-minute background of like what's going on, and that is what I have zero patience for. Like, I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to sit down and play this game. But definitely the detail, the adventures that the characters have to go on. I'm not really sure about like the whole virtual reality stuff. I don't really know a lot about it, but just from
I think I like just about everything. I mean, today it's all about sharp graphics. It's all about smooth gameplay. The motion control thing is always cool. Sometimes it's a bit laggy depending on, what system you have. I haven't played the Kinect yet, but it can be a bit temperamental at times.
What did
Online is really fun. A lot of games are online now, where you can, like a lot of first-person shooters, and you can go and face real people instead of just computer-generated enemies, and I find it a bit more challenging. So I think it's fun.
So you're talking about like Kong and Pong and
Yeah.
all of those like awesome old Pac-Man games, and I think the biggest and most awesome change since the 70s has been like console gaming and being able to have access to video games in your own home rather than having to go out to an arcade to play like games like Kong and Pac-Man and all the other things.
Motion control is hit and miss.
Okay.
3D environment, obviously a plus. And artificial intelligence is more so improved artificial intelligence, because if they just sat there and did nothing, that's not much of a game.
I'd have to say simplicity. I mean, even when I was younger in the 90s, the games they're easy to understand, they're easy to get a hold of, there's just a few buttons on your controller. Nowadays, there's just so many things you have to remember, so many different combinations of certain buttons, and it just makes it a hassle to try to get through a game efficiently.
Personally, I kind of liked the simplicity of, is it called RPG? Where, like, or I don't know if that's the actual term for it, but like with the Mario games, it was like very simple. Even though there was like a storyline, it was kind of like, okay, each level you kind of get through the levels, and they would get more difficult. But now it's like the whole like shooting games and all that. Like I just completely don't understand it, and that's like the least thing that I like about where video games has went.
Games worry about more like graphics now as opposed to like storylines.
Xbox 360 has this awesome system where anybody can see what you're playing at any given time ever, unless you unplug the Ethernet cord from the back of your Xbox. Now, occasionally, my friends are jerks, and they like to bring over games like Dead or Alive Extreme 2, and we play that for about 2 to 4 hours. But I have family that's friends on my Xbox, and so they see that I'm playing this nasty game, and they usually send me a comment like, "Jen, you're gross." And it's usually not even me playing, it's just my friends being jerks.
So privacy issues.
Privacy issues, yeah.
Well, I don't like motion too much. Like, I mean, I understand that people are like, "Oh, exercise." No, it's boring. Like, it's stupid. I'm not very like steady.
Prince of Persia was awful. That movie sucked so much that I fell asleep through it like 4 times. The game was so good, and the movie was just so bad, and
I fell asleep.
Tomb Raider, back in the 90s. Have you ever played Tomb Raider? It's awesome.
It was a game for
I
us.
loved the games. The games were fun. They were for regular PlayStation 1. I'd always watch my brother play them. They made him do a movies, and I like Angelina Jolie, but I just think there wasn't enough action and adventure as there was in the gameplay.
The game made into a movie. I tend to stay away from stuff like that. I don't like stuff like that because it ruins it.
How does it ruin it?
Well, because if it's meant to be a video game, it's not meant to be a movie. Because the movie, they're like doing something, you're not in control, like in a video game. It's amazing. You go from like flat, like Pong, you know, like you go from Pong and Pac-Man, where it's like boop, boop, to like something like Skyrim or like World of Warcraft, and it's like amazing graphics. You play with people online that you don't know, and it's just this incredible change in like the video game
I'm glad they've evolved. It's good to keep up with where technology's going. I mean, if I still had my games from 1997, 1998, playing them on my flat screen HD TV, I think they would still look choppy. They wouldn't be as interesting. They would just kind of sit on the shelf and sit there. So with new innovations that come in and new technologies like the Move or the Kinect, it really brings a fresh aspect to games, and it makes them more fun to play.
Privileged to be living in this age of video games, because if I had to go out to an arcade in order to play games like they did in the 70s, I probably wouldn't be a gamer. I like being able to hang out at my own house and at my own leisure just play video games. I like having friends over that can play with me. And in general, I think it's just a better environment.
Play a lot more games and are a lot more portable than old school like arcade style games, and you go through a lot less quarters.
Yeah.